Yo guys, what is up? Welcome to HITC Football. My name is Nuri and as you can see, no face cam this week because I've been ill the entire week. I don't want to be on camera right now. I don't think that that's good for anyone. Also, sorry for my voice. Hopefully next week videos will be back to normal again. But in this video, we're going to look at part 2 of the video I made on Monday. Because in that video, we looked at every World Cup country's active top scorer. But in this video, we're going to do part 2. We're going to talk about Group E to H. The last 4 groups with the likes of Spain, Germany, Belgium, Brazil, Portugal, you name it, they're all in this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're starting off with the first group, Group E, and this group is absolutely insane. Spain, Germany, Costa Rica and Japan. Obviously 2 powerhouses like Spain and Germany are in here, and then you have the likes of Costa Rica and Japan. One of those 2 could be a dark horse. And we're going to start off with Spain and we're going to look at their top scorer. Obviously they had a great era back in the 2010s, where they obviously became world champions and European champions, and they did it with the likes of David Villa, Fernando Torres. Both of them obviously retired right now, but there was one player that was also in those tournaments that is still playing in football right now, and that player is David Silva, who's playing for Real Sociedad. And like I said, this one is very surprising because David Silva right now is the top scorer of Spain who is still active. He might not be a part of the Spanish national team anymore, but still, the fact that he scored 35 goals is pretty insane, and I didn't know that he scored that many goals for Spain. The 35 goals he scored for his country puts him in number 4 on the all-time top scorer charts. He has Fernando Torres, Raul and David Villa in front of him, with David Villa in number 1 with 59 goals, and he managed that feat in only 98 games, so it shows that David Villa was a great striker. And like I said, David Silva doesn't play for the Spanish national team anymore, so he will remain on 35 goals. But Alvaro Morata is the second player that's still active, who's on 27 goals. He's surely going to the World Cup, so soon enough he will probably overtake David Silva, probably not during the World Cup, but after it, surely. And then we're moving on to Germany, who obviously won the World Cup in 2014. In 2018 they went out in the group stages. That tournament was very disappointing for them. And also for Germany, the active top scorer is one that you probably wouldn't expect, because as crazy as this sounds, Lukas Podolski right now is still the active top scorer for Germany. You're probably wondering, does this guy still even play football? And to my surprise, he actually does. He plays for a club over in Poland called Górnik Zabrze. I honestly don't know if I said that right. Probably I didn't. But they're in the Polish first tier. So Podolski still counts as the active top scorer for Germany. He scored 49 goals. He's in 3rd place of all time. In number 1, you obviously find Miroslav Klose, who scored 71 goals for the German national team. 16 of those came at World Cup tournaments, which makes him the all-time top scorer on World Cups. And in second spot, we have the late Gerd Müller, who scored 68 goals in his career for Germany. Next up is Costa Rica, and this country is always a joy to watch at the World Cup. I still remember in 2014 they had a pretty good team with the likes of Joe Campbell, who everybody thought would be a great player after that. He never really managed to impress for Arsenal, and right now he's playing for Club Leon over in Mexico. But still, he had a pretty decent career for Costa Rica, scoring 25 goals for his country, which makes him the second active top scorer for his country. But in number 1 is Brian Ruiz, who scored 29 in 144 games. Ruiz is still going strong at the age of 37 after having played for clubs like Fulham, PSV, FC Twente, Santos and Sporting Club de Portugal. But his 29 goals for his country puts him in 4th place because Rolando Fonseca has scored 46 and he's the all-time top scorer of Costa Rica. And then the last nation of Group E is Japan, and their top scorer of all time and current active top scorer is Shinji Okazaki, a Leicester City legend who obviously won the Premier League title to everybody's surprise in 2016. Okazaki is currently playing for Sint-Truidense over in Belgium as he's winding down his career at the age of 36. And just a little side note, the second active top scorer and second top scorer of all time is Kazuyoshi Miura. We all know him, the guy that is still playing professional football at the age of 55. It still is absolutely ridiculous. I still can't comprehend that this guy is still playing professional football at the age of 55. And of course, for a long time he didn't play for the Japanese national team, but he still scored 42 in 55 for his nation. So this guy is a legend, not only in Japan, but in the entire world. Now it's time for Group F, who have the likes of Belgium, Croatia, Morocco and Canada. And we're starting off with the favorites, Belgium, and their top scorer is Romelu Lukaku. No surprise here, we all know that Lukaku has scored a lot of goals in his career. And at the age of 29, Lukaku is the top scorer for his country, having scored 68 goals in 102 games. And let's be honest, this guy will keep his record for a long time because obviously he will still play a lot of matches for Belgium. We will get that tally up, and in number 2 is Eden Hazard, who only has 33 goals, so less than half of the amount that Lukaku has for his country. And as we all know, this will be the last chance for the golden generation of Belgium to win something. In my opinion, I don't think it's gonna happen. They should have peaked in the last tournament, because unfortunately their defense is not as good as it used to be, but they still have an unbelievable squad with the likes of Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, so we will have to wait and see how they will fare at the World Cup. Next up is Croatia, and if you think of Croatia, you probably think of Luka Modric. But he's not the top scorer for his country. He's the second active top scorer with 23 goals, but there's one player that's still playing football who has scored more than Luka Modric, and that player is Tottenham Hotspur's Ivan Perisic. He scored 32 goals in 115 games. That still doesn't put him in top spot for all-time top scorer, because ahead of him are Mario Mandzukic, who scored 33 goals, so he can probably overtake him, maybe even during this World Cup. And in number 1 is Davor Suker, the legend, who scored 45 goals in 69 games. And then we have Morocco, whose top scorer is Ayoub El Kaabi, who plays for Hatayspor over in Turkey. The 29-year-old scored 20 goals in 35 games, which is a pretty decent record, but in my opinion, I don't think that he will stay on top for a long time, because number 2 is Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea, who scored 17 goals in 42 games. And since Morocco have a new manager, Hakim Ziyech is back in the squad, and we all know how important he is for Morocco, so soon enough he will be Morocco's all-time top scorer. And the last nation of Group F is Canada, and their active top scorer is Carl Larin, who plays for Club Brugge over in Belgium. He scored 25 goals in 54 games, which is quite a good record this season. In the Belgian Pro League, he only scored 1 goal in 7 appearances. He's also not the Belgians' outfit first striker anymore, so he might be going into the World Cup with not the best of form. But luckily, Canada still have Jonathan David, who is the second active top scorer for Canada, with 22 goals in 34 games. And this season, he's been in great form with 8 goal contributions in 9 games. Next up is Group G with Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland and Cameroon. And let's be honest, this will be easy for Brazil. They're in unbelievable form. According to the FIFA rankings, they're in number 1, so they must be the favorites to win the entire thing. And especially if Neymar can continue his form, they will have a great chance, because Neymar has been scoring for fun, and obviously he's the current active top scorer for Brazil with 75 goals in 121 games. He isn't the country's all-time top scorer though, because he still has Pele in front of him, but it's very close, because he scored 77 goals in 92 games. So this means that Neymar only needs 3 goals to break Pele's record. And I know that Neymar gets a lot of criticism. I personally think that he's a great player when he focuses on football, of course, but let's be honest, we would all love to see Neymar overtake Pele and win the World Cup with this country, since that obviously is his dream. And if Neymar can retire as the country's all-time top scorer, having won the World Cup as well, he will be remembered as one of the best players that Brazil ever had. Next up is Serbia, and their all-time top scorer and current active top scorer is Alexander Mitrovic, and let's be honest, it isn't even close. This guy is an unbelievable record, having scored 50 goals in 76 games for his country, putting him way ahead of number 2 Dusan Tadic, who scored 18 in 90 games. And we all knew that Mitrovic was a clinical goal scorer. Like I said, he showed it for his country, he showed it in the championship multiple times. Finally this season he's been showing it in the Premier League as well for Fulham. He's in unbelievable form, and Serbia definitely need him to score a lot of goals if they want to get into the knockout phase. And for Switzerland, their all-time top scorer is Xherdan Shaqiri, who currently plays for Chicago Fire over in the MLS. He scored 26 goals in 108 games, but his 26 goals puts him in 6th in the all-time top scorer chart for Switzerland, as he's still quite a long way off of number 1 Alex Frey, who scored 42 in 84 games. And the last nation of this group is Cameroon. Their all-time top scorer is Samuel Eto'o, who scored 56 in 114 games. As we all know, he has been retired for quite a long time. But their second all-time top scorer and current active top scorer is Vincent Aboubakar, who scored 33 in 87 games. The 33-year-old plays for Al Nassr over in Saudi Arabia, where he scored 1 goal so far this season. And now it's time to move on to the last group, Group H, where we have the likes of Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana and Korea. We're starting off with Portugal, and we all know who their top scorer is. Not only is he Portugal's all-time top scorer, not only is he their current top scorer, but he also is the international top goal scorer of all time. And I'm obviously talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, 117 goals in 191 games. And this record will probably not be broken for years, because Portugal's second current top scorer is Nani. Yes, you heard it right. Nani is still playing football over in Australia for Melbourne Victory, and he only scored 24 goals for his country, which is quite a long way off the 117 that Ronaldo scored. But unfortunately for Portugal and their all-time top scorer, Ronaldo isn't in great form this season. He barely plays and he hasn't scored a single goal this entire season. season in the Premier League. Alright, he scored once in the Europa League, but come on guys, we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. But who knows, if Ronaldo comes to the World Cup, he might find his form again, but as per right now, it looks pretty unlikely. And we're going from one legend of the game to another, because Uruguay's all-time top scorer is Luis Suarez. The former Ajax, Liverpool and Barcelona striker scored 66 goals for his country in 133 appearances. And let's be honest, it will be the last World Cup for two unbelievable legends for the country, because Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani will play their last World Cup, but they can look back on a great career for their country as number 1 and number 2 all-time top scorers. And next up is Ghana. Their all-time top scorer is Asamoah Gyan, who scored 46 goals in 105 games. And I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty decent for the former Sunderland striker. Officially, he's also the current active top scorer because he hasn't officially retired yet, even though he's 36 years of age and currently without a club. So theoretically, he's still the active top scorer for his country. But the player second in that list is Andre Ayew, who's currently still playing for Al Sadd, which is over in Qatar, but for his country, he scored 23 goals in 100 games. And the last nation that we're going to talk about is Korea Republic, and it doesn't surprise anyone that their all-time top scorer and current active top scorer is Heung Min Son from Tottenham Hotspur. The 30-year-old is a legend in his country, having scored 35 goals in 106 games. He also won a gold medal at the Asian Games for his country with the under-23s, and he's a 6-time Footballer of the Year in his country. An unbelievable player for Spurs, an unbelievable player for his country, and it's gonna be a joy watching him at the highest stage possible. So guys, that's the video, part 2 of the current active top scorer for every single nation at the World Cup. Again, sorry for my voice and the lack of face cam in this video. I hope that next week everything will be back to normal. I still hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like rating if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and click my videos on the end screen right now, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.